Hello, everybody. Mike Welch coming to you from a relatively chilly Churchill Downs where the temperature seemed to get colder as the morning progressed. And it was an interesting morning, to say the least, here during the Oaks Derby session. You come here for all these years, and every once in a while you see things you haven't seen before, and that's exactly what happened this morning. And we'll get to that in a little bit. But we had 6 Derby workers today over a racetrack that was not only fast, but very fast this morning. Quick tracks like that for workout times can sometimes lead to a little fool's gold. So not only do you have to take the times into consideration, but it's what the riders are doing, what the horses are doing, who they're doing it with, and we'll try to describe all that when we talk about this morning's action. 6 Derby workers, 3 Oaks workers, all within about a 15-minute span, and those crowded conditions actually led to some issues during the session. But we'll start out with Code of Honor. He was the first horse to go. Worked solo for trainer Shug McGahee, and I like what I saw from him today. Went quick early, 23-1 opening quarter, but continued strong down to the wire in 47 flat, and did it very easily, and had some energy left on the gallop out, 59-3. Then kind of eased up on the double gallop out, 13-4, but I like what I saw from him, and he could be a bit of a sleeper in this year's Derby. Next to go was Improbable. He had Florent Giroux aboard. He went in company, and he was very anxious early on, got ranked going down to the pole, and at least for the first eighth of a mile had his head cocked out. Florent did a terrific job finally getting him to settle in. Improbable went opening quarter 24, 3/8 in 35-4, pulling even with his mate. Finished up well, though, a minute and 3/5, and then was striding out extremely well. Once tapped a little bit to gallop out, and I like what I saw from him today. 3 quarters in 12-4, continued out 7/8 in 125-4, and this was the best move I've seen from him in a while. I got to watch some of his earlier works prior to the Rebel and the the Arkansas Derby on tape from California with the blinkers on before the Arkansas Derby, and he had one real big work before the Rebel, and this was his best work since then, and he's moved up in my estimation here after what I saw from Improbable this morning. And again, a thumbs up for Florent Giroux for the job he did. The interesting part of the morning came next, and that was we had 3 Derby workers, or 2 sets of workers with 3 Derby horses in it. The Bill Mott team of Country House and Tacitus breaking off at the 5/8 pole, and then right in front of them was the team with Win and his workmate, and they wound up all coming together at the half-mile pole. The Mott team slipping inside Win and his mate. Great job by Julian Pimentel. I thought all the riders involved in the situation to keep it a safe work all the way around. But we'll start with Win. He was trapped 4 wide. Pimentel eased him back when they all first came together. Went 23-2 for the opening quarter. And then when they hit the 8th pole, he kind of encouraged Win a little bit, and he just flew that last 16th of a mile, ran by the Mott team, actually finished a length in front of them, hit the wire in 47-2, and then on the gallop out, after falling back again from the 2 Mott horses because he was so wide into the turn, he re-engaged, fought back on again, 5/8 in a minute and 2/5, and 3 quarters in 13-2, and I thought this was a pretty gutsy move from Win, considering all he had to go through. So we'll, again, another horse you might want to move up in your rankings after what we saw today. As for the 2 Motts, Country House and Tacitus, we mentioned before, Tacitus, not the greatest workhorse in the world. This looked like kind of a, even though it was 5/8, kind of a maintenance-y kind of 5/8, but with the extra company, they motored right along, too. They went 35 for the opening 3/8 with Win and his workmate right on their heels to the outside. Finished up in a minute and flat, and while Country House had his head in front of Tacitus at the wire, I thought Tacitus was going the easier of the 2, and they both galloped out well, too, with the additional challenge on the outside, 3 quarters in 13 and 6 furlongs in 125 and 4. Going to save what I thought was the best for last, and trainer Brett Calhoun, he kind of waited till all the traffic was gone before he sent By My Standards out, and he looked good again today. We've talked about how well he's done in the morning, both workout-wise and gallop-wise, and he was terrific today. He won an easy half in 48 and 2, relaxed nicely under Gabe Sayez to the wire, and then really poured it on in the gallop out as we've seen from him before. 5/8 in a minute and 4/5, 3/4 in 13, and then 7/8 in 127 flat. And believe me, he could have gone a lot quicker than that, but his rider was kind of trying to ease him up, pull him up at that point. So by my standards, get my #1 star for this morning. I thought Improbable very good, Code of Honor very good, and under the circumstances, you know, it was an interesting work we saw from the Mott team, and win. On the Philly side of the ledger, like I said, we had 3 works this morning. Champagne Anyone, who I have really liked what she's done since I've been here. Kind of a maintenance half, 48 and 2, out in 101 and 2 for trainer Ian Wilkes. Street Band looked good, 37, a minute and 1, out 13 and change, kind of during all the Derby mayhem. And then the last work was Lady Apple for trainer Steve Asmussen, that kind of patented maintenance half mile in 49, easing up on the gallop out into the turn. Well, all the major work is done here, save for one more work tomorrow. After that, though, it's just a matter of maintaining all these horses through the rest of the week. We're still awaiting arrival of all the horses from Florida, the Todd Pletcher gang, George Weaver, and Maximum Security, who will actually have his final work down at Palmetto's tomorrow morning, and we'll bring you a report on that on tomorrow's workout report. But again, now we're just going to keep a close eye on everybody. Right now, everybody seems to be doing well. We'll see how they come out of these works. The connections of Bodie Express, who's set to work tomorrow, also down in Florida, hoping somebody will come out so they can get in. They're going to ship anyway, and if they don't make the Derby, they will run in the Preakness. But we're going to keep a close eye on everybody as we go through the remainder of the week and get closer and closer to Kentucky Derby 2019.